Top 10 Biggest Ponzi Schemes and Frauds. When most people think of Ponzi schemes, they imagine small-time swindlers offering investors high returns on their investments with no underlying plan. However, the history of Ponzi schemes is filled with large-scale scams that have bilked unsuspecting investors out of millions or even billions of dollars. Here are 10 of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. Before we dive into today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for future updates. 1. Charles Ponzi. Charles is rightly the father of the Ponzi scheme. I mean, it must be named after him for a good reason. However, it does not mean he did it first with Jacob Young, Johann Baptist Placht, Sarah Howe, and William 520% Miller beating him to it. What made Charles Ponzi stand out among these similar-minded folk was how quickly he raked in the money. Charles Ponzi, an Italian, wanted to capitalize on a potential arbitrage opportunity in the pricing of stamps. 2. Bernard Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff, the same one from the movie Wizard of Lies. Madoff, with nearly $65 billion in investor money. Yes, you read that right, making this the largest Ponzi scheme defrauding celebrities like Steven Spielberg, pro baseball player Sandy Koufax, and actor Kevin Bacon, to name a few. Bernie's establishment also defrauded banks like Japan's Nomura Holdings and the Royal Bank of Scotland. 3. Lou Pearlman. Lou Pearlman was one of America's biggest record producers at a time, with a Midas touch for transforming boy bands as he did with Backstreet Boys. These days, he is more famous for running the largest and longest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history over his brilliance in managing the boy bands. He used the traction from the success of his boy bands to get people to invest in two entirely made-up companies. 4. Sergey Mavrodi. Sergey Pentalic Mavrodi is the father of the infamous MMM pyramid scheme. While the amount reported to have been schemed off is paltry compared to others on this list, it makes an appearance because of the frankness of this scheme. In 2007, he was charged with financial fraud to the tune of 110 million rubles. 5. Allan Stanford. Allan Stanford, formerly Sir Allan Stanford of the Stanford Financial Group, is a former financier holding dual citizenship in Antigua, Barbuda, and the United States. Stanford was under investigation by the SEC, FBI, the FIRC, and the Florida Office of Financial Regulation when they found his company consistently giving investors higher than market returns. 6. Gerald Payne. The working principle of a Ponzi scheme is taking advantage of people. Still, only a few hit as many lows as Gerald Payne and his cohorts did with Greater Ministries International. They ran an affinity fraud where they distorted Bible teachings. 7. Tom Petters. We have already looked at the largest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history. Let's see how it compares with the largest in the Star of the North, Minnesota. This brings us to Tom Petters, former chairman and CEO of Petters Group Worldwide. The FBI started investigating Petters in 2008. They searched his home in Wayzata and Raiders, his company headquarters in Minnetonka. They found evidence in the documentation and wiretap recordings collected by a close associate showing beyond doubt that Petters and his accomplices were trying to lure investors into funding a company based on tens of millions of dollars in purchases that are completely made up. 8. Scott Rothstein. Shocker, it is not always the finance guys. 8 out of 10 times, you have disgruntled, disbarred lawyers making decisions they will soon regret. This is the case of Scott Rothstein, former chairman and shareholder of the now discontinued Rothstein Rosenfeld Adler law firm. Rothstein defrauded investors in this firm by selling them fake settlement claims, promising they would get a nice payout whenever the case was settled. 9. Reed Slackin. Mr. Slackin is attributed to being a co-founder of Earthlink, an internet service provider that has existed since the 90s. But his criminal enterprise dates much longer into the mid-80s, where he masterminded a Ponzi scheme to the tune of $500 million, mainly duping fellow Scientologists. 10. Joel Steiger. Joel Steiger is who you'd call a repeat offender or a career criminal. This Ponzi scheme was not his first run-in with the law. He had already been banned by the SEC for setting up a boiler room operation to sell fraudulent commodity options. If you enjoyed our video, please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for future updates. Thanks for watching.